The phrase, "the unexamined life is not worth living," often attributed to Socrates, is not a rejection of life itself, but a challenge to live with awareness, honesty, and intention. It asks you to look inward, to question who you are beneath your habits, your roles, and the image you present to others. At its core, this idea is about alignment. Many people spend years trying to appear a certain way, confident, kind, disciplined, successful. But there is a quiet truth beneath that effort. You cannot truly become what you pretend to be unless you understand yourself first. Otherwise, you are just performing, not evolving. Self-examination means taking a clear, sometimes uncomfortable look at your strengths and weaknesses. It means asking yourself difficult questions. Why do I react this way? What am I avoiding? Am I living according to my values, or just following what's expected of me? For example, someone might see themselves as a hard worker, but if they honestly reflect, they may realize they procrastinate on the things that actually matter. That realization isn't failure, it's clarity. And clarity gives you a place to begin real change. Another example. You might believe you're a kind person, but notice that you become impatient or dismissive under stress. Instead of ignoring that contradiction, self-examination asks you to face it. Why does that happen? Is it pressure, insecurity, or lack of emotional control? Once you see it clearly, you can work on becoming the person you claim to be, not just in easy moments, but especially in difficult ones. This process is not a one-time realization. It's a daily practice. Every day offers small moments to reflect and adjust. When you say something you regret, you pause and ask why. When you avoid something important, you recognize the pattern. When you succeed, you understand what worked and reinforce it. Over time, these small acts of awareness compound. You become more intentional, less reactive. You stop drifting through life and start shaping it. But there's another important truth here. Self-examination requires courage. Because when you truly look at yourself, you won't only find strengths, you'll find contradictions, insecurities, and habits that don't match who you want to be. And facing those without excuses is not easy. Yet that discomfort is where growth begins. A person who never examines their life may still achieve things, may still appear successful, but they often feel disconnected, uncertain, or unfulfilled. Why? Because they are living on autopilot, guided by impulse, environment, or expectation rather than conscious choice. In contrast, someone who practices self-examination builds a life that is deliberate. They understand why they do what they do. They correct themselves when they drift. They grow not by accident but by design. So the message isn't that life without reflection has no value, it's that a life without reflection has no depth. It stays on the surface. To truly become who you say you are, you must keep asking, learning, and adjusting. Not perfectly, but consistently. Because in the end, self-awareness is not about judging yourself, it's about understanding yourself well enough to become better on purpose.